Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Family Institute session. That's going to be exciting because it's going to be information for our families about working with your children this summer as part of their summer vacation, preventing the summer slide. So, this is a very important topic that we like to share during this time of year so that we can all be thinking about how are we going to our children are going to end school pumped, ready. They've learned a lot. We want them to start the next year remembering what they learned. So it's not like starting all over again. So, welcome. And in just a moment, I'm going to ask our specialist, Mr. Neftali Ortiz, to please share with us about simultaneous interpretation.
Welcome everybody. We're doing a simultaneous translation. So if you are in a computer, at the bottom of the screen will be an interpretation globe. Please click that globe and then select Spanish. Si usted está en una computadora, y muchas gracias a todos por estar aquí presente y necesita oír este programa en español, por favor, en la parte baja de la pantalla habrá un globo de interpretación. Por favor, haga clic en este globo y seleccione Spanish. If you are on a mobile device, at the bottom of the screen, please tap the ellipse icon on the bottom right, tap Language Interpretation, tap Spanish. Y si usted está en un dispositivo móvil, en la parte baja de la pantalla, toque el icono de elipses en la parte baja derecha, toque a donde dice Language Interpretation y después toque donde dice Spanish. Entonces usted va a poder oír este programa esta noche en español. Y muchas gracias por estar aquí presente.
We also invite everyone to please sign in. We love it when we can take attendance. That also gives us an opportunity to share with you all any artifacts that we collect that can be shared with you related to this topic. You'll see that our slides will be posted to our YouTube page in the school system. So we are recording this session. So we invite you again to please sign in. That's our attendance form. Mr. Ortiz is dropping that into the chat box. You can just click on it. If you cannot access the form, please introduce yourself in the chat box, place your email address for us, the schools that your child or your children attend, and share with us your reason for attending this session. We appreciate your input. And again, as we are working together tonight, there are opportunities to ask questions and to receive some answers and just be engaged with us completely. So thank you. Thanks for signing in. Everyone to please, as we're participating, to respect one another, engage transparently, commit to our mission each other. And again, we started on time, we end on time because our time matters. And then we just ask you to focus. Everyone hopefully knows who their board members are in their districts. If you don't know, that's your homework. You need to find out. Actually, we have a new board member in District 4. Does anyone know that person's name? She actually joined us last night at one of our Family Institute events. It's Ms. Olivo, and we will make sure that you get that information. Maybe we can drop it in the chat box if you're in District 4. You have a new Board of Education member. This we are as a department. I always say we're small but mighty. We serve all 200 plus schools.
Right. So she is telling us about the Department of Family and Community Partnership. It's under Mr. Luis Morales and then Dr. Sheila Jackson. And we have three specialists. So we make sure that our families in our school are involved in their child education. That way the child can advance, right? So it's a small department, but we are a mighty department, right? So let's start. Let's begin with our presentation with Ms. Brooks. I don't know, Ms. Brooks, do you have your presentation with you?
Oh, good afternoon. I do have a presentation with me. Good evening, everyone. I am Tony Brooks. I'm the supervisor for instructional support in the Division of Academics. My email address is there. They didn't give me the S on my last name and my email address. So when you email me, leave the S off, or you can call me. We're available to answer any of your questions about summer offerings, and happy to answer any of your questions about summer offerings. Our office is essentially the coordinating office. We are the clearinghouse, so to speak. So summer managers want to offer summer programs. They register through our office, and then we connect them with the other supporting offices, the human resources, the payroll, the transportation, food services, nurses, security, all of the other things that are needed to establish a summer program. And so our topic today on April 29 at 6 p.m. is Summer Slide. I wanted to start with definitions. So Summer Slide is the tendency for some students to lose gains in achievement. It's also known as summer learning loss, or the tendency for students to lose some of the gains that they made in their achievement. So let's say we have two students. We have Tony and we have Sheila, and they end the school year learning at the same place, have different summer experiences with educational engagement and learning. Sheila has worked on academic learning during the summer. She's worked the muscle memory for the academic skills by reading from the recommended reading list, by spending time at the library, by doing math calculations. But Tony didn't read, write, or do arithmetic. And Tony wonders aloud what the teacher was talking about last year. Tony has experienced summer slide. She hasn't worked her brain, and her math, vocabulary, and reading skills will suffer. Students must be involved with academic activities to avoid summer slide. We offered summer programs in 2024 quite successfully. And you can see from the two pieces of data that I pulled out how successfully we offered those summer programs. We had a middle school intervention program. We had 613 students. The growth rate in reading English language arts was 90.3%. The math growth rate was 60.1%. In high school credit recovery, we had in excess of 7,000 students, and 75 at the minimum percent of those students earned credit in the course that they were enrolled in, up through almost 95% earning credit in the course that they were enrolled in, depending on the course. So if you think about Tony and Sheila attended the middle school summer program. She experienced a growth in reading English language arts at 90.3. Tony didn't attend the summer program or do any learning activities and experienced a learning loss of 20%. So when they begin the school year, Sheila is substantially ahead of Tony educationally, and that's the result of only one summer. So imagine what happens summer after summer. This latest publication that you see linked at the top is available to you from the PGCPS website or through the link that I put in here. This is the Summer Learning Program's 2024 report. And if you slide down, you'll see the table of contents that indicates what programs were offered. We had the early learning and early childhood and elementary programs, a few middle school programs, some high school programs, cross-level programs, and then we had multiple school-funded programs. So schools can decide if, according to their data, they want to offer a summer program. They must be budgeted for it. This report goes on to provide some, substantial details. It talks about the results. In this particular case, this Chesapeake Champions at Camp Schmidt, their environmental content knowledge was 73.1%. Their attendance was 89%. Environmental actions growth, 0.2. And they served a small number of students. And if you go through the report, you'll find larger programs, smaller programs, etc. And so going back to the slides, we had for summer 2024, we had 16,000 students. We served 16,000 students. We're a district of 130,000, so that's above 10% of the students in the county who were served in summer programs. Going on to the next slide, our summer 2025 offerings are posted. This PGCPS Summer Learning Spark webpage is the one that is linked here. The Summer Learning Spark webpage has cards to the different levels of summer programs that are available. So for elementary school, programs in grades K through 8, if you click that card, you will find that the systemic summer learning programs for K through 8 include these that are shown: Chesapeake, Judy, ESSA, and ESY. And then coming soon for students in grades pre-K through 5, we will post some interactive resources that students can use independently. And so that's coming soon. They post it near where the contract is. And going back, I didn't mean to go back there. I meant to come here. Going back into middle school, you can see that we have Artsploration. And if you read more about Artsploration, each of these cards will tell you what to expect, or in other words, a description of the program, a program description, who should apply, how to apply, and often there are links to apply to a form, gives you contact information, when the sessions occur, the location, and the cost and accommodations. And so a program like Artsploration is for students in grades 6 through 8, and it looks like it is wide open to any grade 6 through 8 student. When you go back here to the cards for middle school, we see that we have ESY special education. And ESY special education is only open to those students with ESY eligibility. And so only those students would be identified and referred for services, which is stated in the how to apply. And a couple of other middle school programs, but we're going to go back and take a peek at the high school programs. And so our largest program year on year is the high school summer learning program. This is where students can earn credit from a previously failed credited course or earn original credit toward fulfilling graduation requirements. And there is a limit on the number of courses that a student is allowed to enroll in. Some of the courses are asynchronous, others are synchronous. In other words, some are in person and others are on the computer without instruction, without a teacher. Okay, so then it has the session dates and contact information again. In this case, we've got 4 sessions described here. We've got multiple locations. And when most often the student is for high school summer learning program, most often the students are working through their school counselors to not even most often, always. The students are working through their school counselors. As it says here, students must complete and submit a registration form with the assistance of the professional school counselor. And I wanted to go back to one more place, I believe on here, maybe two. I'm backing up to, we looked at elementary, we looked at middle and high, and then we have our list of school-based sponsored summer programs. And school-sponsored programs are only for students who are attending the individual school. So if you're on this page, there's this information at the top. And the school contact will notify eligible students of the logistics for the program. But you can see alphabetically, Academy of Health Sciences is offering a program. Students who were interested in attending that program would be Academy of Health Sciences students. They've got contact information, dates, and the school based programs would provide additional information. And it goes on alphabetically by location. And so more information from the summer managers on, services like transportation, whether meals would be served, all those kinds of things would be questions for the individual summer manager. And then the last of the things that I wanted to share, summer learning tips. Parents, help your child reinforce reading and math skills. And here is our parents will read books with students. These are just some guidelines for parents to follow. If they need just a little bit of assistance about what kinds of things to focus on. So if we're talking about a pre-K student, as we are here in this first row, the parents should be focusing on reading books to the students, asking questions about that book as they read, providing a journal for students to practice name writing. We're in pre-K. Provide art supplies. Use appropriate names for items and have students do the same. And then for numeracy and reasoning, our math skills. Utilize the summer guide to math skills, which will be posted. Help students count and write numbers 1 to 20. Ask students which is bigger, smaller, longer, shorter. Ask students to count items around the house. Those are just a few of the recommendations for parents to accomplish. And it goes on K to 2, 3 to 5, on through high school. In high school, of course, is a little bit more, involved. And so leaving that there for you to pick up on. And we have summer learning tips. This one was for parents. Summer learning tips for students. It's a wonderful handout to provide to students. Let's go down to a student in grades 6 through 8, suggesting here that the student keep a reading and writing journal and record the theme or the central idea in the selections. Again, thinking over the summer, using their brain power, exercising their brains. Write about a favorite topic, write an argument about something read or watched on social media or TV. Analyze a commercial or a social media post. What biases are noticed? And you can see, again, we're trying to keep students thinking. And if I can back up, we've also have summer learning tips for community partners to help find a way to help youth boost their reading and mathematics skills. So in this case, we're talking about, if we look at 3 through 5, provide opportunities for students in programs or activities to express ideas regarding their specific activities and assignments. Require the use of appropriate vocabulary. We talk of that as content literacy. Suggest the use of journals to record ideas, events, and reflections throughout the program or activity. Think critically about an experience and discuss various perspectives, and etc. These are ideas for the various people who will interact with the student and the student him or herself to implement. And then finally, that's currently posted, actually it's not finally because there are quite a few more cards here. There are school readiness guidebooks to provide grade level readiness expectations on what students should know and be able to do at the end of each grade level. So for elementary, if we're in 5th grade, we would come to a page that tells us that a student should be able to determine the theme of a story, play, or poem, including how characters respond to challenges. A student should be able to explain how authors use reasons and evidence to support their points or ideas. Those are the expectations for that end of 5th grade. And so it's important that that parents are aware of these resources and can do some thinking about where their child stands in elementary, middle, and high. And there is a link for how district level staff support students during the summer. Of course, teachers are exploring professional development. They're reflecting on lessons learned from the year. Our administrators are reflecting. Our central office staff are revising curricula and transitioning curriculum to the learning management system that we use in Prince George's County Public Schools to make it easy for teachers and students to access the materials that they use to develop. And then we have mental health services, a link to the mental health services that are available over the summer. And so you can see here, there's a crisis text line. We have crisis services. We've got safe schools. We've got the suicide and crisis lifeline. There are different mental health community partners. And it goes on for staff and with administrative procedures and quite a bit more information, school violence and prevention, school safety preparation. And then I'm moving back, I'm almost at the last card. We recommend, and actually it's required now, that students begin their service learning, collecting their service learning hours in middle school. And here is a list of some service learning things that may be available during the summer. Links to more information on those. And so that is what you will find when you access the Summer Learning Programs webpage. And there's some contacts for some of our bigger programs. And there I am down there at the bottom, instructional support. And then I'm going to move back to the presentation. I think I might have just changed the slide, so I'm going back. That's what Prince George's County Public Schools have to offer, but in Prince George's County, there are opportunities in with quite a few of our partners. If we look at what Prince George's Community College has to offer, they offer opportunities for students in grades 2 through 8 at Prince George's Community College. And this year's publication indicates that they are offering programs in STEM, business, arts, life, and sports for students in grades 2 through 8. Many summers, usually they will have more academic offerings. From what I see here, the courses offered are limited to the ones that I just mentioned. And how to enroll is still The schedule will be available soon. Unusual for Prince George's Community College. Usually they are posted by now, but this year is something to check on daily if you have a student in grades 2 through 8 and are interested in having them on the community college campus in order to participate in one of those offerings. And if we move on, we also see that the University of Maryland has summer camps. Their offerings are in arts, college credits for our high school students, early education for our youngest learners, STEM and sports. And when you click on that link, what you come to is a long list, mostly of STEM, a long list of offerings, quite a few sports offerings as well. I clicked on one of these tiles and the program was already full and the waiting list was full. I clicked on another of these tiles and there was no indication that the program was full or that the waiting list was full. So it's a little bit of clicking on those that are interesting to you in order to get to the information about applying or whether there are spaces available and those kinds of things. And then our parks, we're still on the topic of Prince George's County opportunities, all ages, Prince George's Parks and Recreation. Now we love them. I can say in my own family, my son was enrolled in parks programs every summer. And our Parks and Recreation, they have their 2025 summer programs and camps brochure posted. And so you would go to that link, you would have to go leave their website and go to another, where you will find their summer guide. And you click through using the arrows on the side. Of course, if you're familiar with PG Parks, then you know that they are offering all kinds of things. They've got, this page is full of art camps. The next is full of basketball camps. And etc. I missed the table of contents. Let's see if I can get back to it just to read a few of what it is that they have going on. Okay. I think they don't have it by topic as much as summer day camps preschool, summer day camps children and youth, summer day camps teens and preteens. Is the way they have it organized here in the table of contents. So spend some time looking at what they're offering through Parks and Recreation. And then the last that is usually posted by now of the Prince George's opportunities, and there are more, as time goes on, we find them and people tell us about them. But the Prince George's County Memorial Library System always offers some sort of summer program. Last year, which is where this link takes you, it takes you to 2024. Last year, it was around Adventure Begins in Your Library, and it says that it's more than a traditional summer reading program. It encourages students and adults to read 30 minutes each day. And we agree at the minimum. And so the link has not been updated, but I suspect that it will before we get to this May date, which is when they began in 2024. So please do continue to look back for opportunities there. And so tips to avoid summer slide. We think the simplest way is to add up your minutes. So schedule learning on a calendar and see how it adds up. we said engage in daily learning 30 to 60 minutes a day, which is much less than 6 or so hours that students are engaged during the regular school year. So just a portion of those hours will help to just a portion of the regular hours would help to prevent summer slide. And specifically read, write, and calculate daily. Schedule limited screen time. And if you do schedule screen time, tie it back to what we said parents should do, which is to have their students who are spending some screen time then take out a piece of paper and analyze what it is that they've seen. Then the last, play thinking games like Yahtzee, part of your schedule, your learning on the calendar, and see how it adds up. And then, last but not least, enroll in a summer program. If there are no summer programs at your school, then we recommend that you work with your school's administrators to see whether this is something that you can expect in coming years. If the options, the additional Prince George's County options that are shared, if they've closed, put on your calendar for, let's say, February of next year, a reminder to look back at those links or make contact with those organizations to see if you can get the information early enough to be able to register. So I'm hoping that that gives you some thoughts and ideas. And then we've come to this question and answer slide. And so it instructs everyone to type in the chat box. And if we don't get to answer, we will email you. And is there someone assigned to read me any questions in the chat box?
Mr. Ortiz and I will be looking for them so we can read them out. Also, we just want to ask anyone who right now, since we're kind of paused, go ahead and if you have a question, raise your hand and we'll find you and unmute you so you can ask your question live. So any questions tonight?
There
Tina
is
Curry. Okay. Hi, Miss Curry.
Sorry, was there already something in the chat or should I ask mine first?
No, please go ahead. We'll call on you. So we're calling on you first.
I just a practical thing because my child has a summer break, but I do not. So while they will be in summer camp, I am spent by the end of the day. I am emotionally exhausted from work as of full 8-hour day of mine. I don't know how much academics will be in her summer program. It's not through the school, and the county was filled up the first day, probably the first hour. So how do I practically do this? Should I focus on the weekends more? Learning through fun? I just don't want to be sitting and doing worksheets with her. I'll be honest, if it's sunny today, like it is today, 80s, I'm not going to want to be inside doing a worksheet with her. So any practical tips on working families, because we don't get a summer break like they do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, a practical tip, and I really love that what you said about being outside instead of being indoors. And being outside offers plenty of opportunity for discussion while you're together outside. And so even verbal discussion rather than written, for example, even just having a conversation about, well, how many I don't know how old your child is. How old is your child, Ms. Kerr?
She's in kindergarten. She'll be going into first grade. Thank you.
Okay, great. So she's learning to do things like count. She's learning to recognize letters. So, while you're outside and you're in front of the street sign for your street, as an opportunity to talk about something like, can you spot the A if that's where she is? Or can you count how many flowers are budding on this plant? Or, can we talk about what you see with this analysis, what you see with this grass? You see grass, you also see rock, you also see dirt. So please use those minutes and those times that you're outdoors for discussion.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
We have a
Thank you so
question in
much. Yes, go ahead.
we have a question in Spanish. Let me translate it for you. It's from Ilse, and she is asking, she's saying, I was very involved in helping my daughter attend summer camp last year, and they had a great experience. Sadly, the cost of the same program has now tripled, and it's only affordable for a few schools. Can you recommend a good website or resources where I can find other more affordable summer camp options?
Mm. So the few in Prince George's County that I included the links for in presentation, those are probably a bit more affordable, although most of them are also fee-based. But if you can use my email address, which is tbrook, TBROOK, at pgcps.org. I can email me the question. Mr. Ortiz, you can help if you're able to. I know who to pass the question on to.
Okay, the interpreters already gave her that information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was going to also say, I know that sometimes children go with their parents to the grocery store. I was thinking about Miss Curry. And the grocery store has plenty of opportunities to name things by the name that they should be called. Instead of, green stuff, we could call it celery. It has opportunities to see prices and look at numbers. The grocery store is really a good learning place for children.
Thank you. Any other questions? This is an opportunity to ask the question directly to one of our experts in the school system. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here, Ms. Brooks.
Certainly. And Dr. Jackson, did you have any other thoughts about those questions that you wanted to add? I know that you spent quite a bit of time advising parents.
Well, I can share with parents, and you covered it. Something that's free to do here in the DMV is to take advantage of libraries. Many of our libraries have children rooms. So as a parent, you can take your child in there and you can sit and read and relax while they are exploring books or other hands-on materials that are available in the library. If you have energy, because I do understand, Ms. Curry, at the end of the day, you're exhausted, but Washington, D.C. has probably more free museums than any place in the world. So, taking our children to, one of the museums down on the mall is real, what out of school learning opportunity for them as well. So, there are options, but I do love what Ms. Brooks said. The first and foremost, most important thing is having conversations with our children about what they're thinking, what they're feeling, what they're experiencing, what are they learning right now? Because a lot of times you ask children that in the summertime and they'll say nothing. And yes, you are learning all the time, as a child and as a learner. So there are just opportunities that abound all the time. And it's not always about taking them somewhere else. It's actually having them right there at home in the backyard, in the kitchen, having them fold up laundry, sort, there's so many things that we can do to encourage our children's brain development all the time. And so thank you, Ms. Brooks, because you shared so much with us tonight. And you're right, a lot of it is right there inside of us and within our homes as well.
Yes, we agree.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you.
Dr. Jackson?
Yes. Hello, Ms. Williams.
Hi, good evening. Thanks again. I couldn't find the button to actually wave to let you know I wanted was to ask a question. Thanks for the information thus far that you have shared, Ms. Brooks. I really appreciate it. One of the questions that I really would like to find out, I'm not sure if it's only school-based, but is there any opportunity for a bridge reading program for students who are completing the current grade? That child may not be on the reading level, but they are still going towards the next school year. Yes, I did take into account all that I can do as the parent. However, just sending on that child or other students that before they get to the summer slide, I've not gotten to where they were supposed to be before the end of the school year. How do we support those children that still need some help to get on grade level before the summer?
I would say
They're
that
not low enough. And I asked at my son's school because he would not fall in the category. However, where he is mandatory need to take summer school to make up a grade or to get to the next grade. However, not just my son. I'm advocating just for other students that I also would know is either in a lower level needing help with reading and the ones that need a little bit of bridge to get over where they need to go. How do we support those children within the school system? Or is there any program for those students?
if there is no formal program among those resources that I shared, I would say your best resource is the current classroom teacher and the current classroom school counselor. And this current classroom teacher has a very clear idea of where the student is and what skills need to be made up in order to move to the next expectation. And so that's a scheduling thing. Ask the teacher for some time, to talk.
I actually did already, Miss Brooks.
Oh, good.
Because I think I'm pretty proactive when I see something because I'm not just leaving it to the teacher. How can I also be involved, engage, and assist? And it was answer. It wasn't an appropriate answer, but I also understand it's a big class and maybe there's not enough resources to ensure that each individual child is getting what they actually need and not just, okay, well, some is here, some may be here, some may be at that place, but they're all moving on to the next grade. Because if they are not at the place where they need to be for that particular school year grade, they're going to end up short, even without the summer slide. And if for the ones who didn't get any summer, academics, they're going to be at a further disadvantage going forward. I asked the teacher, the classroom teacher. I also asked the counselor, and it's so. I'm glad, like I said, just being last night at the leadership meeting. It was important for me to know, the next channel. But as we were talking, I really think that could be a great summer program for just to help in the students emerging reading program, something to assist those students that no one has been able to say or give me any information thus far that it's available.
Well, we do have one resource coming, and it's more of a tutorial-based resource. And
Okay.
so it would be an electronic application that students are going to be able to access and go through curricula.
Okay.
That it has not been posted yet.
Okay.
And as I understand it, it will be in math and English.
Okay.
So that's the Prince George's County Summer Learning webpage. And it was under the coming soon. Now,
Oh,
as I understood it, because it was under coming soon only for elementary, it's for elementary grades, not the middles
okay.
or the high. But I do love the recommendation.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Brooks.
I mean, if you would like to email me, I can certainly pass it on.
I sure will. Thank you.
And then we had Dr. Jackson sharing. Dr. Jackson, you want to share what you typed?
I think Dion Freedy, if I'm, please forgive me for my pronunciation, had raised your hand or unmuted.
Hi, Dr. Jackson and Miss Brooks. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
We hear you.
Yes, yes.
I just wanted to provide something that kind of worked for my children because my children are purely transactional in a lot of sense. So like when they wanted to go to Six Flags or Playground or Watkins Park or anything like that, they literally had to pay me with workbook sheets. We would go to Dollar Tree and we would rack up on all of the pre-K, kindergarten, first, second, and third grade workbook sheets for my multiplication, counting money, telling time. And there was a certain value that I placed on certain destinations, and they would have to complete a certain number of sheets in order to quote unquote pay for those types of excursions and activities and stuff. And that really kind of reinforced because it kind of got bad because they were doing pages like in advance, finishing books and just holding on to the pages, ready to pay at will. So that I had to reset the market and raise the price in some cases because they were completing some of the pages like they're on page 10, 11 the first night, and then it kind of dawned on me that they weren't really being challenged enough. And now that my son's tag identified, we're he's doing third and fourth grade math now, and I do want to pace them, but as far as you know, staying away from the summer slide, I had got my son into the Peaches and Sour Cream Foundation summer reading program, where children were they were getting paid cash to read certain books and stuff. There's a lot of free summer programs that are out there if you just do a simple Google search. But as far as paying the parents with completed workbook sheets and cursive writing and stuff like that, that helped us a lot because we didn't even have to ask them to do the workbook. They was like, well, I did 3 pages. How much does that get me? And I'm like, well, that can get you an ice cream. I'm gonna need some more. So, but that kind of worked for us.
I love that idea.
I do too. Boy, it's fun to work to kind of sometimes trick them into learning and working, but that was fun.
Excuse me, Dion, can you please share some of those in the chat? I heard peaches and cream. If you can share the other ones in the chat, please.
Sure, I can get the address and as well. Let me see. I'll post it.
Thank you. And thank
Thank
you
you.
both. Thank you, Ms. Matthews. This is what this is all about, making connections, family to family, while we're talking to staff and their system. Thank you all for modeling that for us.
Mm-hmm. And then I see, Dr. Jackson, you typed, I love Khan Academy. It supports our curriculum. Can you share?
Someone had written before that Khan Academy is excellent in supporting students' academics. So maybe that person could unmute and talk about that because I have experienced Khan Academy, but I would love to hear from someone else who's utilized that resource because I personally was able to make linkages directly to what our children were being taught and just use it to reinforce what they're taught in their classes.
Sure. So Khan Academy has the ability to cover from K to 12. I have kids in 2 different grade levels. So it is beneficial, and you stay on standards with what your student is learning. And it's going to move as your student moves. So if needs to be challenged, you can move as quickly. If you your student is struggling, they do a great job of breaking down exactly the information, and yeah, love it.
Oh,
From learning your multiplication to prep for SAT.
And is that at a fee? Or do we have a free resource, maybe a
It
partnership
is
with the school?
free.
It's free.
I'm not sure. I don't know where that's coming from, but if someone could mute that, please.
I'm not hearing anything, Dr. Jackson. I see a couple of resources in the chat as well.
Hi, yes.
Someone's music is taking over.
Yeah, sorry. So the I put 2 links in there. One goes to the parent, the Peaches and Sour Cream Foundation. They mail free books to the child's home. Um, and we were in the program for 2 summers, and we have a total of like 60 or 70 books. Because we already do the Dolly Parton Foundation as well as other items. And the other link is a link to my son's video participation where he won $200 for a video submission, but you could watch that at your own leisure. There's a lot of great reading programs that were out there. I thought I would share that with the other parents.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And it looks like Peaches and Cream registration comes back up in March of 2026. And so that kind of goes with that idea of, putting a reminder on your calendar in February so that you can come back and check on those kinds of resources.
Excellent.
And that concludes my presentation. Did you all have any more questions for me? And I want to welcome you all to email me, tbrook, TBROOK, at pgcps.org. And I can, great at making connections. So if I don't have an answer, I'll find someone who can help.
Can you say that one more time? I'm sorry.
tbrook, it's TBROOK. They didn't give me my whole last name. So tbrook at Prince George's County Public Schools, which is pgcps.org.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much for this wonderful information. I don't know why I got kicked out of Zoom before, but my wonderful co-host, Mr. Ortiz, kept recording. So ladies and gentlemen, this presentation has been recorded. It will be posted on our PGCPS, is it Facebook? I'm terrible, guys, with my apps, but it will be posted. And so we invite you to complete our evaluation for tonight because your feedback is very important for us. As you can see in the chat, there is a live link. You can just click on it in the chat box. It'll open up for you. There are 6 very short questions, but that input that you give us helps us improve our services. We are beginning to plan for next year. And thank you, Winsome. Just let us know that, yes, the video from tonight will be posted on our departmental webpage, which is the Department of Family and Community Partnerships. So if you go right to the main webpage of the school system, our website is there, and you will find the recordings from all of our sessions that we've held this year. So again, we thank you for being here. We appreciate you. We hope that you have gathered some information that not only is going to be helpful and beneficial for you and your family, but also we hope that you'll share it with others in the community so that we're spreading the knowledge to as many.
Evening, everyone.
Tell you that our last session for this school year is coming up on May 6th. It will be a session that gives us information to help us help our children. We call it MCAP 101. One of our colleagues from our Office of Testing and Instruction will be here to talk about the tests that your assessments that your children have had this year, for which you should have received data, but they will talk about how you can use that data to help your children going forward, to work with teachers and let them know, the strengths of your child as well. So that's coming up on May 6th. Please stay tuned. The flyer should be posted to our website soon so that you can access it and you'll be able to join us. Tell you that our specialist, April Shannon, who focuses on parent leadership. So if you're a parent, family member who's interested in being a leader in the school system, or just want to be able to support the parent leadership practices in our schools, please reach out to April Shannon. Winsome Falvey is in charge of an initiative in our department called Parent Cafe. Winsome, would you like to unmute and just talk quickly about Parent Cafe? Well, if she can't, I'll just say to you, it is one of the most personal but engaging opportunities for parents to learn and talk about protective factors to support their children. And they are very, very, I call them deep conversations that we have parent to parent to make sure that we're supported and we're supporting each other. Mr. Ortiz?
That's correct.
Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you did an excellent job, Dr. Jackson, of explaining what a parent cafe is. It really is an opportunity for our parents to build community. And so we discuss parenting concerns, issues, and we learn from one another. Of course, we get the opportunity to not have to worry about our kids. So we provide free childcare for our student-age students from pre-K to 12-year-olds. And we provide something to eat as well. So if your school is interested in a parent cafe, please email me at winsome.falby@pgcps.
Thank you so much. And Mr. Ortiz is here. Mr. Ortiz, would you unmute and talk about your initiatives in diversity and father engagement?
Yes, father engagement, very important. So we have what we call diversity in the county, Prince George's County Public School, and we want our fathers to be more involved in their child education, and not just in their child education, but in their child's life. The more involved fathers are in the child's life, the better future that child will have. So if you want to know more on how to get more involved in your child education, in your child life, please contact me at neftali.ortiz@pgcps.org. And like Winsome's Parent Cafe, we have food. So if you're hungry and want to know about getting more involved with your child, please come on by. Just go ahead and email me, and I will tell you where that diversity is going on. Right now, it's at Carroll Highland Elementary School. So if you want to go by there, Thursdays from 6 to 7. Thank you, Dr. Jackson.
Thank you. Thank you. And Neftali and Winsome both talked about something that is very important. When we are in person, we like to provide either snacks or, dinner simply because we know that you all work hard all day and we're inviting you to come back out in the evening as participants and learners with us. So at least we can provide some refreshment for you and your children. We have childcare that the children just love. We have to remind parents to go pick them up in the evening because they're not ready to go when we're ready to end. And our childcare is run by our parent engagement assistants who are outstanding in activities to engage our children. Also, if you're interested in your school developing more partnerships, we have Ronald Wilson. His email address will be in the PowerPoint. And Janice Cook helps us with our volunteer program to make sure that every school has the cadre of volunteers that are fully screened that can help you with those field trips or other school-based activities as we continuously try to build our family engagement. So we want to thank you. We want to encourage you. We just want to remind you, in the words of the late Dr. Benjamin Mays, that, reminded us that we are the masters of our own ships. And so we have to pay attention to our own thoughts and our actions as parents, as leaders in our community. So watch your thoughts. Our thoughts become our words become our actions. Our actions, what we repeatedly do, become our habits. Our habits define our character, and our character really structures what our destiny will be. So much for being with us, and we hope to see you at our last session on May 6th. Have a wonderful evening. Enjoy the rest of the day, the rest of this week. And again, we look forward to seeing you on May 6th. And our PowerPoint should be up on our website within the next 2 days. So thank you. We appreciate you all. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good
Thank
night.
you. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.